Happy Friday, subscribers! Before we dive in, a quick personal note. At the time of the recording, it's my birthday, and there's truly nowhere else I'd rather be than right here with you, bringing you this week's IFI project disclosure updates. So thank you for being a part of this journey, and let's see what we've got. This week, we're covering disclosures from the 11th to the 22nd of August 2025, and there's quite a bit to unpack across the IFC, World Bank, AIB, EBRD, EIB, IDB, and AfDB. I almost got that right. Let's start with IFC. A few standouts here. The DHPP hydropower project in Bhutan jumped out at me. It's a category A high-risk project, and if you've been following the channel, I've been talking about hydropower a little bit and how it could be particularly tricky for the biodiversity, resettlement, environmental flows, and like the seismicity, especially in the places like the Himalayas. It will be important to see how IFC handles cumulative impact assessments in this particular instance. Two projects in Jordan, the Hikma loan and the Hikma bond, signal IFC's ongoing support for pharmaceutical expansion in the region. We've noted in the past episodes how health sector investments bring both opportunity and scrutiny, particularly around affordability and access. Benin Solar 50 megawatt, which connects back to our earlier discussions we've had on West Africa's renewable pipeline. It's always encouraging to see these mid-sized solar projects making it onto IFC's books. Moving to the World Bank, a couple of projects deserve mention. The Sierra Leone Free Education Project ties back nicely to our ongoing conversation about education as both a development driver and a political commitment. Earlier this year, we spoke about foundational learning programs in Malawi, and Sierra Leone's project seems to be moving in a similar direction. Another big one, the Eskom Just Energy Transition Project in South Africa. We've been tracking South Africa's transition journey for a while, and this disclosure highlights just how central Eskom remains, not only to the country's energy mix, but also to global climate finance debates. Over at AIIB, 3 projects were disclosed. The most interesting for me is the Haryana Orbital Rail Corridor in India. Infrastructure corridors, as we've discussed before, tend to concentrate both opportunities and risks, and it's one to watch from a land acquisition and resettlement perspective. On a side note, India has quite stringent and more up-to-date resettlement legislation from 2013, but there are still gaps when you compare that to the IFI standards. On the EBRD side, there's a cluster of financial intermediaries projects in Armenia and Ukraine, but one that caught my eye was the Nukus e-bus project in Uzbekistan. We've talked in earlier episodes about the wave of e-mobility investments propping up across Central Asia, and this project is a perfect example of that trend. Transitioning municipal fleets is both a climate and an air quality win if done right. I've worked on projects like this before back in 2012, 13, 14, so this is not new for EBRD. From the EIB, I'd highlight the Benelux battery storage project in the Netherlands. If you've been with me since spring, you'll remember we discussed how storage is becoming that missing middle of Europe's energy transition, bridging the intermittency of renewables. It's good to see EIB stepping up with support in this space. The IADB disclosures this week are wide-ranging, from health systems in the Bahamas and Haiti to an intriguing Sargassum Biorefinery project in the Dominican Republic. This one stood out to me because it reflects a growing recognition of nature-based challenges. It is a buzzword, but bear with me. It turns an environmental problem into a potential economic opportunity. That's something we've talked about before in relation to circular economy projects and innovations in Latin America. And finally, from the African Development Bank, a huge wave of disclosures. 2 things to note here. First, the Eskom distributed battery storage program in South Africa, which complements and was mentioned by the World Bank. The second interesting one is the Ruzizi 4 technical assistance support. Long-time listeners will remember that we spoke about Ruzizi 3 a couple months back. These cross-border hydro projects in the Great Lakes region carry enormous regional integration potential, but also very real social and environmental risks. The Ruzizi hydropower cascade consists of, I think, up to 4 hydropower projects on the same river, so it is massive. It's fascinating on the one side, but it's also a little sobering to see yet another phase of this moving forward with so many different institutions financing bits and pieces. Perhaps lack of cumulative impact assessments. We'll get back to you on this. So, to wrap up, across this 2-week window, we're seeing a few big themes resurface. Energy transition, and not only in South Africa, but across different regions, hydropower expansion in fragile ecosystems, and continued investment in education and social safety nets. These are the very same threads that we've been pulling on in previous episodes, and it's encouraging to see the narrative evolve in real time. That's it for this week's roundup. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you again for being here with me on my birthday. There's no better way to celebrate than with this global community we're building together. Happy Friday, and I'll see you next time.